What does it all mean, Daniel? An image made of different metals and a stone of magic that knocks the image to pieces.
His Majesty is a great king, for the God of heaven hath given thee the kingdom of Babylon. He hath given thee power and strength and glory above all the kings. Wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field, the fowls of heaven hath God given unto thy hands to rule over them all.
My kingdom is a worldwide kingdom, and I am powerful. My glory exceeds that of any other man or king. I rule the world.
Nebuchadnezzar, king of all Babylon, thou art this head of gold.
The golden head of that huge image I dreamed of represents me?
Thee and thy kingdom, your majesty, are represented by the golden head.
Gold is the most precious of all metals, and Babylon is the richest of all nations. Yes, I see.
Babylon shall fall, O Nebuchadnezzar, and another kingdom shall take its place, an inferior nation, even as silver is inferior to gold.
Babylon fall?
It shall come to pass.
But why, Daniel? Why?
O king, if you and the kings that follow you upon the throne of Babylon would exalt the true God and worship him, Babylon would never fall until the time of the end. But thou, O king, and the kings after thee, shall make God their refuge and their strength only when harassed and perplexed.
But, Daniel, I recognize and acknowledge that your God is the only living God with power to give thrones and take them away.
As long as you reverence and obey the King of Kings, your throne is assured. But, O king, those that come after you will forget God, and the kingdom shall be taken away from them and given to another. And that kingdom shall also fall to a kingdom likened unto brass, and it shall bear rule over all the earth. The legs of iron of the image represents yet another kingdom, the fourth.
The iron, does it have any special meaning?
Iron is strong and hard. It breaketh into pieces all other things. So shall this fourth kingdom rule with an iron hand, and break into pieces nations and tongues and peoples.
So far, your interpretation, Daniel, of the dream I had is reasonable and will probably come to pass just as you have said. But, Daniel, does it have to be? Does Babylon have to come to an end, and the other nations?
The Lord God of heaven is just, loving, long-suffering, and a forgiving God. He is anxious that all confess and forsake their sins. If thou, O king, and thy people were to do this, and the kings after thee, keep always the love of God before them, Babylon would never end.
I think I understand, Daniel. And the toes of the image, you said they were partly iron and partly clay.
The kingdom of iron shall be divided into 10 kingdoms, even as the legs are divided into 10 toes. They shall be partly strong, like iron, and partly weak, like clay.
Yes, I see.
They shall not cleave together, even as clay cannot be mixed with iron.
How far in the future is all this, Daniel?
Thou, O Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, art the first kingdom, the head of gold. The 10 kingdoms of the toes are the last kingdoms.
The last kingdoms? You mean there will be no more kingdoms at all?
O king, the stone cut out of the mountain without hands shall break them into pieces, and they shall be no more.
Oh, yes, that magic stone. Just what is it, Daniel? Or who?
In the days of the 10 kings shall the God of heaven set up his kingdom, which shall never be destroyed. His kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
Scribe, princes, all members of my court here present, I, Nebuchadnezzar, great king of Babylon, do command you to bow the knee before Daniel. Of a truth, Daniel, your God is a God of gods, a Lord of lords, and a revealer of secrets, seeing he hast revealed unto thee the secrets of the future. My court may arise.
Long live Daniel, wisest of the wise and a revealer of secrets.
Long live Daniel, wisest of the wise and a revealer of secrets.
Scribe, write upon a scroll and send messengers throughout all Babylon, that I, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, do hereby decree that Daniel shall henceforth be ruler over the whole province of Babylon, and chief of the governors over the wise men of Babylon.
What are we to do?
It's all your fault.
Mine?
You were chief of the wise men, remember? You suggested that we not summon Daniel whenever the king requested our presence. Remember that?
Yes, but what has that got to do with what happened?
Had we accepted Daniel as one of us and included him in conferences with the king, we could have taken part of the credit for Daniel's telling and interpreting of the king's dream. We would have shared in the gifts and rewards and position given Daniel. Now we have nothing. Daniel is to rule over us. He is next in power to the king himself. And Daniel's 3 friends, even they have more position and power than we do.
I was chief of the wise men and counselors. Daniel stole that from right under my nose.
That proves how wise he is.
It proves we owe Daniel a debt, and we're going to pay it.
Gratitude.
Gratitude? The opposite, revenge. And he'll get it in full measure.
How, pray tell?
Now, think of a way.
Well, if I were you, I wouldn't tangle with Daniel more than I had to. The history of Israel, their deliverance from bondage in Egypt, their conquest of Canaan, and many, many other incidents tend to prove that their God is still living and powerful.
What?
That God uses his power in Daniel's behalf.
That's not true. It can't be. If Israel's God is still their God, how is it that Babylon reduced Jerusalem and the other cities of Israel to ashes?
I don't know, and I don't care. If I were you, and as wise as you claim to be, I would leave Daniel strictly alone. It is true that Jerusalem, all Israel, lies in ruins. It is also true that there are thousands upon thousands of Israelites here in our country as captives. Now, couldn't it be possible that the Israel God raised up Daniel so as to give the thousands of his people here hope for the future and keep alive their faith in him?
Oh, that's idiotic nonsense. I will have revenge upon Daniel and his 3 companions. You can be sure of that. I have it.
You have what?
I've thought of a way to get even with Daniel and at the same time put ourselves back into favor with the king.
I warned you, don't forget that to tangle with Daniel is dangerous. He's wise and quick to take advantage of every little opportunity.
But this plan I have is foolproof. Absolutely foolproof. Nothing can go wrong.
Yes, perhaps, but I doubt it.
First, I'll solicit the help of the chief priest of the Babylonian state god. Together, we'll go before the king, and that, my dear magician, will be the beginning of the end of Daniel.